Hey you beautiful people, how's it going? And welcome to a new video. So today I'm going to be talking about my league starter for 3.21, which is going to be the Artillery Ballista Raider. This was a sub goal, this is the reason I'm playing it. Otherwise I would be playing SST Bleed, which I'm also going to release a video for tomorrow. So if you want to see that, hit that sub button. Yeah, so Artillery Ballista, very, very powerful league starter. Actually buffed with the passive tree and the changes and, you know, the +1 proj. Really, really nice changes for early leveling because this is a bow build. It breezes through the axe, it breezes through early maps, and it is very, very easy to gear, making it SSF viable. The spreadsheet that I'm going to show you throughout this video will have gear progression links, as well as a leveling guide, pros and cons and whatnot, as always with my league start videos. But yeah, overall, I would rate this build as it's very easy to transition into another bow build, such as Tornado Shot or Lightning Arrow, or whatever wacky things they might come out with in this league. The Zoff bow looks pretty cool, doesn't it? But yeah. I'll show you the rest of the showcase, and I'm going to jump into the spreadsheet as always. So I'll catch you guys in a sec. Okay guys, so getting into the spreadsheet, this is very similar to all other spreadsheets that I've done in the past. Now, pros and cons for Artillery Ballista after having done 2 SSF runs with this. Low budget, smooth level into endgame, it's fast, it can get 100% suppression and ailment immune very easily because it's a raider. Easily transition to another build, for example, Tornado Shot or Lightning Arrow, and it is SSF friendly, able to kill, you know, Eater of Worlds, Exarch, Maven, and Uber Elder with relatively easy gear. Cons of that is totems. I mean, totems, you know what I mean? Not the tankiest early, it does die quite a bit, to be honest with you. You can obviously adjust to build around that, but I didn't really care because I'm a softcore nerd. And then not really great for min-maxing because it's just not worth to min-max it, in my opinion, based on what I was seeing. Like, you can just swap to like Tornado Shot or something, do way more damage. You can min-max it if you want to try, but I'm not going to do it. Optimal farming methods that I put: Expedition Logbook farming, Val Temple farming, Blight farming in this case. To be honest, I haven't had too much time to work like through what it's good on farming because I've been extremely busy, as you guys probably know. But these are things that I found that it was actually okay. Expedition can be a bit dicey, but since you get so much spread with the projectiles, and they do quite a lot of damage, it seemed relatively easy to me to do expedition farming. So yeah, even on league start gear, I think this is fine. As long as you just get like a decent bow, which you can get from ROG quite early, then you should be fine. Leveling guide wise, not gonna this is how I ran it through when I did 2 runs on SSF, and this was absolutely fine for me. No struggles at all. Breezes through the axe, to be honest with you. Now there are obviously going to be some changes going into 3.21 that I haven't adjusted for yet on this. You can adjust for those however you see fit, but if you're like absolutely new and you don't know really what you're doing, if you do follow this word for word, then you will still have a smooth time regardless of the new gem changes that you get earlier on now. So yeah, this is my exact setup that I did. It goes all the way up to Act 4. Once you're at Act 4, you should have enough damage to just breeze through the axe anyway, only upgrading really your weapons and whatnot. So yeah, you can follow that if you're new. If you're not new, then obviously you can just do whatever you want, because you probably know how to level up. Anyway, going on Artillery Ballista, page number 5, we are on gear progressions. So this is just a brief rundown of the gear progressions that I did on my runs. Early tabular, although I didn't get a tabular, you can use a tabular, of course. Mid game, we're going for just any 6-link with high life res chest, which you can get from like a Val Temple area. And the end game, I was using high Resire for the insane amount of flat added cold damage you get. You get suppression, and now actually with high Resire, because it doesn't have life on it, you can actually get the 15% increased life mastery with this from the tree, which is quite useful. So that's actually a benefit of using high Resire going into 3.21, which is quite nice. For the quiver, Poised Prism, in my opinion, very cheap, like 1 or 2C quiver, good triple resist, good flat damage because you do need quite a lot of int and strength for the build as well, and you actually have quite a lot of dex, so Poised Prism is a good shout fairly early mid game, and I killed Eater of Worlds and Exarch with this, and Maven, so it's absolutely fine. Going into the end game, if you really want, you can make a Primal Arrow quiver with the Essence of Horror. Essence of Horror, typically very expensive, so in my opinion, I wouldn't really go for this. Like, you can just throw one on, and if you get one with like +1 arrow over here or something, then it is a pretty good quiver. Not necessary though. I would just honestly stick to Poised Prism is my plan, and then I'm going to swap out to something afterwards. As for the weapon, early, you know, you just want to pick up a weapon that has like double LE damage on it, like flat fire, flat cold, something like that, and then you want to craft arm. And then pretty much the same for a mid-game one, you can do the same for. You can go to ROG and look for decent bow bases, so like a Figure bow or a Spine bow, for instance, and then try and get some good prefixes. This is the one that I used exactly as it is, and I killed the endgame bosses with this bow. It's not even particularly good. It's like tier 3, tier 2, tier 3, with no real suffixes either. And this was enough to kill endgame bosses. But yeah, your best bet to like craft one of these is just go to ROG early, do ROG, you'll get yourself a nice, tasty bow. And then endgame is just going to be a typical like triple LE bow with +2 arrows and attack speed and whatnot. But if you are doing artillery ballista, again, these are like 85 divines typically in League. And they are very expensive to craft, obviously, as well, especially if you're going to fracture. So I wouldn't worry about going for the end game, unless you're going to make this and then swap to another skill anyway. Then this is fine, but typically this will be enough to carry you all the way to the end game. Relatively easy. Early and mid game and end game for the gloves. Not going to need anything too special. You're just going to get gloves with increased attack speed using Essence of Loathing. If you pick up any glove base, which is going to be like fractured with like any sort of res or attribute or whatever you need, then you can just spam until you get like one more good affix here. Or you can use Eldritch Currency, and that's pretty much all you need. That'll do. This the gear on this gear progressions is literally all I used through the solo Southbound run, and everything was absolutely fine. So that's all I put on here, enough to carry you. Obviously, there might be like some better min-max options, if you will, but this is just the bare minimum that you'll need in order to carry yourself. Mid and end game is going to be a Stygian Vise. If you craft a Stygian Vise with Reforged Attack in Harvest, you are guaranteed elemental damage with attacks on the prefix, so you can do that until you have tier 1 and a good life roll and maybe some res, which is what I'm going to do personally, or you can just Reforge life until you have tier 1 life and some res on a Stygian. But yeah, that's probably what I would go for on the belt. Moving on to the boots, going into 3.21, you could use Dark Ray Vectors for the +1 Frenzy. And the reason that I'm saying Dark Ray Vectors over here is because of the Ancestral Vision jewel that they revealed, which I've put down here. Because this gives modifiers a chance to suppress spell damage, also apply to chance to avoid elemental ailments at 50% of their value. And since you're going to be a raider, you're going to hit 100% suppression easy, and then you have 50% chance to avoid anyway. So if you socket this in, you're going to have 100% avoidance without any boots. With avoidance on or any chest or anything like that. So you'll be ailment immune on Raider very, very easily thanks to that jewel. Now, I don't know how cheap it's going to be, how common it's going to be. It's a pretty good jewel, so I think it's going to be at least a couple of divines. But if you can't get that jewel, then you would go for just boots that are crafted, again, with Essence of Loathing for avoid ailments, and that'll give you 35%. With the wheel on the treat, this one over here, let me just jump into this. You know, you're going to get a bunch of avoid ailments from this, and then as well as from the Raider Ascendancy over here, Avatar of the Veil, giving you 50%. That'll be enough to give you 100% as well. But if you do have the jewel, then obviously you can use Dark Ray, which is +1 Frenzy, which is a big DPS boost because this is a Raider. Moving on to the helmet, Wilma's is our end game. Again, double dipping on the cast speed from Frenzy. So increases and reductions to cast speed also apply to attack speed. And it gives you Ancestral Bond and accuracy, which is very useful. So the increases and reductions to the cast speed, the Frenzy charges give you 4% more cast speed per Frenzy, so depending on how many you have, you can get 28, maybe 32 if you're using Dark Ray Vectors. So obviously, Wilma's is a huge DPS boost, which is really good, and Ancestral Bond is obviously nice because you get +1 Ballista. You can still generate Frenzy and hit with Ensnaring even if you don't deal damage, so Ancestral Bond doesn't actually matter, to be honest. But before you get Wilma's, you can just go for any high life resistance helmet with Intor Stroke, whatever attribute you need again. But yeah, that's pretty much what you're going to get there. For rings, I went for the Taming. Taming's just really good, not hard to get, not relatively expensive, like maybe a Divine or two, early League. You can use this, and this will be your end game ring. Honestly, this will carry you. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Before that, you're just going to get a ring with stats that you need, i.e. life resistances, accuracy, maybe some flat damage to attack, silly damage to attack, something like that, until you get a Taming. But you should get a Taming relatively easily. After this, again, absolutely bare bones over here, guys. Crit multi-amulet, life attributes, crit chance. So you can actually spam this again with another essence that gives up to, I believe it's 45 multi, but I can't remember off the top of my head which one it is exactly. But yeah, you could use that until you get a decent life roll, or crit chance, or, you know, the stats you need. And we're going to be anointing a primal manifestation, which is this node up here on the tree, which is, again, a relatively cheap one, which gives you totem damage, totem life, and totem duration. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Other than that, earlier on, you're just going to get an amulet with life and resist. Preferably a strengthen in amulet or an onyx amulet, because you will need attributes for the build in order to use your stuff. And going into jewels, we've got the most important jewels going to be max life, crit multi with fire skills, a global crit multi, strengthening, and increased totem damage are all going to be useful attributes. Unique jewels wise for the build, you're going to want Rain of Splinters naturally because it's a totem build. So you're going to get +2 additional proj on each ballista, which is huge DPS. And Ancestral Vision if possible. Not sure, again, how rare this is going to be. I assume since it's not a corrupted one, it's going to be quite rare. Best bet is probably to try Gwenin earlier on for this. But yeah, no idea what GGG are going to wipe that one out. But I think it's pretty good, so it might be a bit rare. Yeah, that's pretty much a gear overview. That is a bare bones, relatively cheap, easy to get gear overview that should easily carry you to at least the feared. I reckon I could do the feared with this gear, to be honest with you, as long as you're just a little bit careful. Gem setups, if you come over to this tab and you're not sure what gems you need, we just got a gem setups here. Also in POB, naturally. And this is the POB that's currently open in my one, which is the developer mode one. So if you want to open this POB, because I'm not going to be here to update this once POB finally gets updated. I'm not sure if this is going to open in normal POB. If it does, then great. If not, this is how you would get it. Developing the dev version of the path of building. Just follow the on-screen instructions here, and then you'll be able to get this version, which is already updated. As you can see, we have multi-shot here, which isn't available on the normal tree. This is already updated for 3.21, so that's the one that I've stuck in there for now. And yeah, that's pretty much what you're going to do. But yeah, that's about it, guys. I won't really be able to answer any questions because I'm not going to be home for the next week. But if you go into my Discord, I'm sure there's people in there that can help you if you have any questions or any criticism. But yeah, that's just about it, guys. I will catch you guys on League Launch Day on 3.21 if you're there. Probably be streaming on Twitch if you want to pop by. If not, don't worry about it. I'm not going to. Yeah, take care, guys, and I will see you next time. Peace. Before I go, big shout out to my King and God tier Patreon supporters: Sen, Multi-K, Nifty, Isaiah, Pandoxy, Gavin, Stu, Anti-Swipe, Wag, and Dan S. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the support, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.